Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Today's video is going to be my birthday book haul for 2025, so stay tuned. It is currently July 25th, 2025 at the time of filming this video, and last week was my birthday, and of course I did get some books for my birthday. I think I have about 9 books to talk to you about today. So let's get into them. These books are going to be in no particular order when I open them on my birthday. These are just all the books that I got from my birthday and one pre-order of a book that came out the day before my birthday. So we're going to count it in this book haul. Most of these books I got because I think I'm going to rate them really highly. Yeah, that's the reason why I get mainly books. That's kind of why I mainly buy physical books. So I buy physical books for the books that I think I'm going to rate really highly. And so I want to have a shelf trophy. So these are potential shelf trophies. Most of these more than likely will be. I don't think I'm going to dislike a single one. So the first book we have here is The Disabled Tyrant's Beloved Pet Fish by Zhu Shan-fei Hua. This is volume 1. I have been into Dan Mei novels. I have read the entirety of Heaven Fischl's Blessing, the first and second volume of Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation. I have read the Guardian Zhan Huan series. I have read the first book in Remnants of Filth, as well as the first book in Ballad of Sword and Wine. And I, of course, watch Isabel from Front of Pages, and she read this book in one of her more recent videos in April, May. And honestly, I'm really excited to read this one. This is the blurb of volume 1. Honestly, I really love Dan Mei BL novels, which this one is, and I'm really excited to read a comedy, because usually what I read that's of this genre is more labeled historical fiction. The next book that I have is actually another Dan Mei novel, and that is Ballad of Sword and Wine Volume 2 by Quang Jingzhu, by Tang Zhu Qing. I gave Volume 1 in this series 4.5 stars. I'm really looking forward to continuing. There was a little bit of a sexy times scene at the very end of volume 1, and I'm desperately wanting that to continue in this book, and I'm pretty certain it goes. This one is a lot like Remnants of Filth in that it's an enemies to lovers tale. Enemies to lovers is one of my favorite tropes. I do like the MF version, but if it's an MM, oh, yes, chef's kiss. So far, I really enjoyed volume 1, and I am really looking forward to picking up this. The next book I have is a bit of a surprise, a bit of a wild card, but I think I'm going to absolutely love this book, and that is The Odyssey by Homer. This is not Homer's actual thing. This is actually the translated version by Emily Wilson. I will tell you 2 things. First of all, I am a huge fan of Greek mythology, having read in its entirety more than once. Percy Jackson. And Here's Olympus in its entirety more than once. Currently on Trials with Paul, I'm on book 4. There is a reason why I'm on book 4 and I started series a couple years ago. There is a reason for something that happened in book 3. I don't like to talk about it. I am currently up to publication in the Lore Olympus webcomic. However, I'm up to the publication of the graphic novels. I do know that I could go on Webtoons right now and read whatever's been published on there so far, but I absolutely love the graphic novel editions. Anyways, regardless, I am caught up to date with that. It's actually the main reason for this, which is Epic the Musical. Which I am absolutely, utterly obsessed with since I discovered Epic the Musical a couple years ago. I really haven't been able to listen to anything else since. It has become an obsession. Every single time I have finished watching the animatic, I have cried. Every single time at the exact same spot. You all know which spot. If you've seen Epic the Musical, you all know which spot. But I absolutely think that I'm going to love my time reading source material. Now, this is the translated version, so while it is The Odyssey by Homer, this is a much more easier to read version. I really do not want to read the original work and suffer and not enjoy it much. I've already picked this book up and read a couple of lines, and I can easily read it, so that's excellent for me. My plan with this volume right now, when I do read it, is to put tabs in here for every saga in Epic, and like map it out on here. I think that'd be really cool. So this is why I have it here in physical form. And yeah, very much looking forward to reading it. I have read The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. Really enjoyed that book. 4 stars. I DNF'd Circe by Madeline Miller. I really couldn't get into it. I may try it again, but I forget to mention that book is I do really love Greek mythology, so yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading this book. The next book that I have is another manga. This is Pokemon Volume 7 in the Collector's Edition. This is not the one I am currently on. I am currently on Volume 6, which I do have. This is Volume 7, which is the one after one I have. I really enjoy Pokemon, the video game, and the video game franchise as a whole. So that's why I got Volume 7. The next book that I have is my pre-order book, and that is A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping by Sengu Mada. This book came out the day before my birthday. I've actually had this book pre-ordered since last year, as this book was supposed to come out in 2024, but the release date got pushed to 2025. I'm really looking forward to reading this one, as I really enjoyed The Secret Life of Regular Witches. I gave that book 4.5 stars, and this book sounds like it's going to be a cozy, witchy time. I think I'm going to probably absolutely really enjoy this book as much as I enjoyed the first one. This is not my new release for July for Herkiad. I'm going to read a different book, but I may read this book for Herkiad for the Spooky Creature Witch. The next book that I have is the second volume of Birds of Shangri-La by Ramaria Zaria. I read volume 1 back in January of this year. Absolutely loved it. Gave it 4.5 stars. I can't wait to continue. Yes, this graphic novel series is rated M for mature, but it's like the earlier Dynamite novels. This is MM, which is my favorite. Really, apart from fantasy, sci-fi, and a little bit of horror, my second type of books to read are romances, particularly MM. So if you have other recommendations for books or graphic novels / manga like this one that is also MM, we'll be very happy to pick those up. So leave your recommendations down below. I'm always looking for more. Anyways, I can't wait to read this volume. The next book that I have is Blood Over Brighthaven by M.L. Wang. I have heard really good things about The Sword of Kaigen by this author, but I've heard even better things about this book. And I absolutely think I'm going to like this one. I do know that I'm definitely using this book for Herkiad as a Q recommendation book. I think I'm going to absolutely love this book as well as The Sword of Kaigen. So that's why I decided to get this book as well. The next book that I have the next volume in the Welcome to Night Vale episodes collection. This is the one that's currently out. They haven't done any more since, but I really want them to go further in publishing these, as I think this is a really good thing for people to have their friends and for people to have their fans of Welcome to Night Vale, which Welcome to Night Vale is my favorite podcast. And the way I like to read these books, I am much more further in my listen of Welcome to Night Vale than I am in these volumes, is I will read these books an immersive read with the podcast. That's exactly what this book is this is the entire podcast episode, and when it gets to the weather, it will mention who did the weather for the episode, and then it'll continue with the rest of the episode. And I absolutely love that idea. I would love it for more of my podcasts that I listen to do stuff like this. I think the Magnus Archives, which is one that is very similar to Welcome to Night Vale, I believe they do have a podcast episode collection book, so I'm going to have to look into that one, as I really do like the Magnus Archives. But yeah, when I do eventually read this book, I will go ahead and immersive read with the podcast. And for any of you who are fans of Welcome to Night Vale, I encourage you to pick up these Welcome to Night Vale bind-up episodes and re-listen to the podcast and follow along, as it will greatly enhance your reading experience. And then finally, the last book that I have The Will of the Many by James Islington. I have seen countless and countless of YouTube videos where people mention that this book is their top book of the year, best book of the year. And honestly, I've heard great things about James Islington. I've heard great things about his Shadow of What Was Lost series. That's the first book. I've heard that book series is also really good. But I then decided to pick up this one. We may go back to the other one, but the Shadow of What Was Lost series is on Kindle Unlimited, and this is not, at least not currently. So that's why I decided to get this one in physical form and start that book series later. That one, Shadow of What Was Lost, that series is completely finished. This one is not. I believe book 2 comes out this year. I'm not entirely certain of that. Don't hold me to it. But I'm really looking forward to read this book, as even based on the cover, this looks like it's Roman mythology inspired, which I also really enjoy. And I think I'm going to absolutely love this book. From the booktubers that I've lost who have read this book, they really enjoy this book. So therefore, I think I'm going to really enjoy this book as well. Those were all of the books that I have gotten this year for my birthday Comment down below if you guys have read any of these books and what you thought of them, and also leave me more recommendations for BL, Danmei, as well as just romance books in general, as I'm always taking recommendations. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Remember, we are the one within the all, and I will see you guys with whatever comes next.